Author POV. It was Sunday. Ryan didn't have work today. She is at home and reading some random book in living room. Suddenly she feels thirsty. She was going to kitchen. She was on the hallway when she heard someone screaming. After walking a little, she heard someone screaming, but when she looked around, there was nothing. So she decided to ignore that and was about to walk further when she listened again, and that made her stop and think, "What are you doing, Ryan? You can't ignore screaming like this. What if someone actually needed help? There is nothing here. Nobody will help that person. You should be brave and help that person." After giving herself a little bravery message, she followed the screaming sound and she reached nearby room from where that screaming could be heard. She looked around and there was no one. So she slowly entered and followed the sound. When she saw one person was tied with the chair and blood was coming out of his every body part. Her eyes went wide looking at the scene, but when she saw the other person who was sitting on the opposite chair with a gun in his hand, that made her blank. He was her Taehyung. She looked around and realized that there are more known faces like Jimin, James and Charles. Just then she listened Taehyung's voice. "Jimin, don't you think we should shoot in his right hand, but left hand still has left to shoot?" You are right. Then let's shoot and make them equally." "Good idea." Saying, he stood up from his place and about to shoot him, but they heard the scream. But this time it was the scream of two people. One is of the person who is tied to a chair, and then other is someone else. When they looked at the second source of scream, their eyes went wide. There Ryan was standing with tightly closed eyes and hand on her ear. Looking at the scene where Taehyung was shooting someone, scream left her mouth, curse left from his and Jimin's mouth. They don't know how they are going to handle the situation. She never seen this in her life. Who can understand the situation? That is their biggest fear now. She slowly opened her eyes and looked. Taehyung and Jimin were so shocked to react. They never thought that she would come here. They have a different dangerous side which they never wanted to show their family. All this year, Jimin made sure that whatever bad he did should stay till her bare house. Yuna, his wife, should never come across this side. From the Moment Ryan entered his life, he also made sure of that. It's not like he was not going to tell her about this forever, but he knew that she is still not ready for this. Now he knew that he has to act calmly, so he took one step toward her. Ryan, who was shocked to think anything, took 2 steps back, looking at him, who was a gun in his hand. His white shirt is not white anymore. It's turned red because of blood. She was about to run as she don't know what to do. He dropped the gun and ran behind her. Before she could go far, he held her hand and turned her around. "Leave me. No, you can't be my Tae. Please leave me." She can't control herself. Her emotion took over her and tears started falling in her eyes. He was about to touch her face, but she pushed his hand. "Don't touch me with your bloody hand. I want no one will touch you, but you want to leave this place, not without listening to us. Tear can't stop her eyes. She knew he would not let her leave, so she nodded. Jimin came forward and took her to their sitting area. She sat on couch. This is first time she came there because Taehyung never allowed to came this side of his house. Looking at her, anyone can say how scared she is. For the first time, he can see fear in her eyes instead of love, which broke his heart. He went inside, took a quick shower and changed his clothes. He looked at Jimin, who nodded his head. He took seat in front of Wyan. I work with Jimin. He runs the Mafia. Listening to this, her eyes went wide and she looked at him, who nodded his head. So he continued. I won't say that we don't do any legal activities because we do, but we don't kill or torture people until it's necessary. How can killing someone be necessary? She asked shockingly. Did you see him? You know what he has done? She nodded is no. So he said. He was involved in some illegal activities. Our activities are not like that. Instead, we save those people by being insane. And of course, people like him won't open their mouth easily, so we have to do this. He tried to make her understand as calmly as possible. The frown on her face deepened. Her mind knew what he is telling is true, but her heart is somewhere not ready to believe that her husband can kill or torture someone. She stood up from her place. He looked at her, asked, Where are you going? I don't know. I can't understand anything. I don't know how to react. So I am going because whatever you said can't change the fact that what you are doing is crime. When she said those words, his heart burned with the fear that she will leave him, which he can't let happen. If she think him as a criminal, let her think, but she has to leave with that criminal. Before she can move, he lift her in bridal style. What are you doing? Leave me. Sorry, sweetheart, I can't. You need time. You can have as much as you want, but there is no option of leaving me. Leave her, Thai, he said, but he glared him and said, I won't. She is the reason I am living peacefully. I won't leave her. Even if it's mean to case her, I will. He said and started moving outside. She started blinking in his arm. When he didn't leave her, she started beating on him with her fist, but of course her soft hand can't hurt him. He opened their bedroom door with difficulty and put her inside on the bed. I know, sweetheart, I am hurting you, but how can you think about leaving me? There is no option of leaving me for you, and you have to stay here until you realize that. She was so shocked by this. Before she could react, he left from there and locked it from outside. She ran to the door and started slamming it. He who listened this and said, Why don't hurt your hands? I am not going to open until this thought of leaving me leaves from your mind. She started crying while thinking how good their morning was and this day turned out. He who listened to her crying also sat outside the door and tear left from his eyes thinking of her love crying inside. But he can't control himself. When it's come to her, he possessive take over his heart and his rational mind stop. He can burn this world if he needed just to be with her. Jimin, who looked this curse. He is doing wrong. I have to stop him. He went behind him and also informed Yuna, who got tense listening to this. Jimin went in living room. When he didn't find them, he started looking for them. When he reached upstairs, he found his friend sitting on the floor while resting his back on the door and burning his face in his knee. Tae, he said. He looked up and found him. Tears are already in his eyes. He said in his cracked voice, She will leave me. Jimin looked his condition and hugged him and consoled. She won't. I know she will. But where is she? Inside, I locked her. Listening to this, Jimin's eyes went wide. But before he can say anything, he said, I know I am doing wrong. You know it's hurting me as much as it hurt her, but I can't let her know. I know she deserves better, but for her, I am selfish. Just then, Mrs. Kim and Yuna also reached there. When they came to know all, they were shocked. All of them tried their best to make him understand that he should not lock her and give her time, but he was not ready to listen to anything. No, all of you are not understanding. She will leave me if I open this door. I can't let that happen. I won't let that happen, trust me. He tried to make him understand. No, he said firmly. Don't you trust me? I do, but he didn't completely, just looked down. Jimin tried to take him away from the door, but he was not ready to move and pushed him. I am telling you, Jimin, stay out of this matter. I won't let her go.